Morning, everyone. How you doing? Well, I gave it up on the research for a little bit. We got two different fires going on up here, and I was out doing some research, and especially on Monday, man, the smoke was so bad it was just really getting to my eyes. Couldn't hardly breathe. Some places you couldn't really see that well. Not a good environment to hang around with, you know what I mean? So I gave it a breather here. Right now it's really nice up in where I'm at now. I'm back at home right now, so what I'm going to do is I wanted to give you a kind of a rundown on the previous video that's up right now, exactly what was going on that day, and a few other topics I want to get across to everyone. So first and foremost, let's begin with the previous video. Now on that particular day, I was on the backside of Mount Lassen. Okay, so it's an area that I've been doing some research for here and there. I get a chance to get in that area, and it's also an area where there have been quite a few eyewitness accounts on UFOs in that area, and it's also the area where there has also been some eyewitness accounts of a particular species called the reptilians. I've covered that with you before. Now, so anyway, on that day, what was going on, I was there and just in quiet mode and just observing and listening. And halfway up that mountain off to my left, I was getting some wood knocking. So that's why I started communicating back, because that's exactly what I was doing, was communicating to them by wood knocking too. And after that, the wood knocking stopped. Probably just a few minutes later after that, we got a little bit of a breeze that came in. And I know they were there in the area because all of a sudden I picked up a real pungent smell. And I know that kind of smell, okay? So I knew they were there, and they were watching us. And I was accompanied that day with one of my neighbors, Roy. And I want to thank him for being there with me that day. And then there was no breeze at all, and everything went stalemate, so the pungent smell was disappeared. Then all of a sudden, off to my right, about halfway up the mountain too, is when I noticed there was an area in the thickets of pines that the brush in there was moving around. Well, the funny thing about it, there's no breeze, there's not even a light little wind at that time period. So that gives me the indication there is something there, which there was. And as I was observing that area, I saw the silhouette of one of the hybrids. And that was probably the one that the other was communicating with. And as you know in the video, I was communicating back in several methods. And instead of responding, they were just watching. Anyway, as I was watching and observing that area, you get a clear space, you know, there's no shadow, no nothing there. You just get air coming through there. There's no difference if you're looking up the sky, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of bluish. And as I was looking there, I could see the silhouette of an entity. I could see the head, the neck, trapeze muscles, and the shoulders, and it was covered in black. So I know what it was. It was one of the hybrids. As I was observing him, I know he knew that I caught him there because he just kind of froze, and oh, probably maybe 20, 25 seconds later, he just evaded. But he didn't evade too far. He was still there with the other one that was watching. So there was two there. And I just wanted to run that down with you, okay? And there's something else I've been keeping an eye on, actually two different entities I've been keeping an eye on, and quite heavily lately. One, so I have a really, really big concern up in here where we're at. We have a big time diminish on the deer count up here, and that's raised a red flag for me, and I got concerns about it. I've been here for 3 years now, and this is the first time I have ever seen a drastic decline in the deer. Now, right off to my backside up in here, see, that's a migration trail. Now, that migration trail has been there way before anybody here, as in humans, start living. It's pretty obvious. It's been there for a hell of a long time. It's the same migration trail they take when they leave to go down to the valley when the winter hits, and they come back up when the good weather arises. And I mean, big high percentage of a decline in the deer. Now, there's a reason for it. I can't quite put my thumb on it yet, but something kind of tells me that gut feeling. I know it's not the apex predator that is doing this. I have more of a gut feeling that it might be done, it's more being done by humans. And what I mean by that, I hate saying it bad, but I'll just tell you like it is. I got a feeling that there's poaching going on that nobody's really aware of. Otherwise, why would you? There's no reason to have that much of a high percentage of a decline in the deer up here, period. So, and I have only even seen 2 young ones. I mean, it's really pathetic. But there is something going on. And like I said, this has nothing to do with apex predators. There's no way in hell that they would do that kind of unbalance in the deer population. So, and also I've noticed that for a while now, there has been a high percentage of people up around the Sierra Mountains that are plain just vanishing. They're disappearing. And I mean just disappear. No trace, no evidence of where they disappeared to or where they were at, where they're at, period. Nothing, nada, zero. And that's getting concerning. Because that's out of the realm, you know what I'm saying? There's something going on. But you know what? It's like I've always told you. As many years I've wandered around the Sierra Mountains, without a doubt, you know, it's, in my opinion, it's probably the most mysterious place in North America. And I believe hands down, I really do. We have cryptid entities up here that, my God, they're not even put in the books yet. We have entities up here that has been right under our nose for who knows how long. Probably centuries, probably millenniums. So, yes, there is a lot that goes into the Sierra Mountains, so it's a very mysterious place. Why the humans are disappearing up here? Well, you can kind of pick a category. It could be UFO abduction. That's definitely on the list. I doubt very seriously if these people were just vanished because apex predators got a hold of them. No, because you would find some kind of remains. There's nothing, no remains, nothing. And in some cases, it's like they just left their home, and then all of a sudden, nobody even knows where the hell they went to, and they're not found any further. They just disappear. But you know how I do absolutely believe, and I know it's a fact because of through my own research, that there are gates and doorways to the other world that you will find in places up in the Sierra Mountains. And that is a fact. There's some places and portals that I have come across and found. Especially the previous part of the Sierra Mountains that me and G did extensive research, and I'm talking about at least over a decade. Okay? So I wanted to get that out to you. Now, because I don't want to forget this, I've been wanting to tell you this one story for years, you know, but it seems like every time I was doing a video, you know, I get sidetracked and I would forget. Okay? And so this time here, it's on my mind, and I'm going to let it out now so I don't forget it again. Okay? There was an incident that happened to me back in 2003. And at that time, in that year, that's when me and Steph were seeing each other. As she was at my house that day, it was on a Saturday, it was on one of my days off. And I decided it was, early afternoon. A day like this, nice blue sky, no clouds. You could see for miles up, crystal clarity. You know, in other words, you could see 5,000 plus feet, no problem. Anyway, so on this particular day, I stepped outside my house, went on the front of my property, and I was out there just getting some fresh air, relaxing, unwinding a little bit, you know. And I decided, you know, all of a sudden I just started gazing up in the sky, you know, like this. And as I'm looking around, observing, all of a sudden something off to my right caught my eye, something that was dark in color. And as I looked up like that, and I was like, what the hell is that? And then when it got to about 12 o'clock high, it was straight up. And as I was looking up, I'll be a son of a bitch, excuse my French, what I saw. At first glance, I thought it was an aircraft up around 4,000 or 5,000 feet. Small aircraft, single engine. But it was making absolutely no sound. But then as I really got a good look at it, you see, because it was dark in color up against a blue sky background, and I could see every detail on this entity. I call it an entity because it came to my attention, and seconds later after that, this was no fixed wing aircraft, by no means. And what I was actually looking at was a raptor. A very large, huge raptor. And his wings were completely fixed out as such, as if he was gliding, like any other raptor would do. If you ever seen like when they go on the hunt, like hawks, eagles, even condors. And usually what they do is they'll fly in a loop going like this up, and what they're doing is they're riding on the air currents until they get to the elevation, the altitude where they want to be. And that's how they hunt. And they get a high view of down what's below. And I've seen all the above, okay, in the real world. This raptor I was looking at was, this thing was 3 times the size of a condor, okay? And as I was observing it, because it was moving very slowly, because it was riding the air currents up there. I know how many. There's a lot of air currents up there, air pockets. There's a lot going on up there as an ex-professional parachutist, because I jumped for the United States Army in my time. And I've jumped out of every kind of aircraft that was available for us to jump out of. And as a parachutist, you want to make your descent last a little longer, so you're aware of all these kind of currents and cross currents and air currents, air streams that are up there, and with a chute you can ride them. Well, these Raptors do the same thing, but they glide, see? So they fixate their wings straight out. As I was looking at this in detail, because of the dark background with the blue background, I could tell that there was fringes on the back side of the wings on both sides, and at the tail, and it had kind of a short tail, and it had a big heavy body. And I know it wasn't in flight, because its wings were not flopping in flight like this. They were just fixated straight out, and they were gliding. It was gliding. Now, this particular raptor I saw is a species that existed 8,000 to 10,000 years ago. It supposedly went into extinction. Obviously, it did not go into total extinction, because what I was looking at was the real thing. And the wingspan was minimum 30 feet from wing to wing. 30 feet, maybe 35 feet. Now, this thing was big enough, it could probably drop down, pick up a full-grown man, and fly off with you. I'm not kidding, man. With this particular species, so happens to be a Native American folklore, which is called what? Thunderbird. I do believe, without a shadow of a doubt, because you see, this happened a couple of years before I actually started doing my research. And then I added it to my research on my list. Okay, so there's time to time, I still observe the skies. I do it all the time. I'm still looking out for one. Now, there's still a lot of tribes with the Native American Indians that do believe that they do exist still today. So do I. I saw it with my own eyes. I remember stuff came out, and she said, because she saw me kept looking up at the sky, she says, "What are you looking at? UFOs?" And I said, "No, oh, hell no." She said, "Well, what are you looking at?" I go, "If I told you, you wouldn't believe me." And not only that, this particular type of species, in the science world, we do not know what their longevity of life was. We have no idea. Some of the raptors we know today, we know their lifespan, and of course we have birds today that say, like with certain species of parrots, they can live 50 years to 75 years plus to over 100 years. That's a fact. And so it could be very possible that maybe they have the same type of longevity. We don't know. You could just guess. But anyway, what I did do, because that day I had, it's not like I just walked out of my house with a camera, I mean, that wasn't even in my mind. I'm just out enjoying my day off, a little sky gazing, a little fresh air. But what I did do, because when I get in situations like that, I got a photogenic memory. So what I did is I went and I made a sketch of it, okay? This is what I saw. Now, I'll try to give you a good shot of it. That is what I saw. Exactly what I saw. See it? So, and like I said, you know, with blue sky, dark in color, but that's exactly what I saw. And the way it was moving anyway, even if I would have rammed in the house, got a camera, came back out, it would have been gone anyway. So anyway, I'm glad I got that off my back. Finally, I got it done. So, anyway, I'll be back out in the woods. I'm just waiting to they get a handle on these fires. We've got 2 different fires going on up here. And so right now I'm going to hang out at my house for a few days, you know. I need the rest anyhow. So, till next time, I'll catch you guys around then, okay? And enjoy your, what's today, Wednesday? Yeah, enjoy your Wednesday. This fantastic month of July. And until next time, I'll catch you guys later, okay? Have a good one, man.
Gotta go.